The massive crystal dome of the Galactic Council chamber sparkled under the light of 3 suns. Inside, 500 representatives from across the galaxy sat in rising circles, their faces illuminated by the soft blue glow of floating screens. At the center of it all stood James Reed, Earth's ambassador, his plain black suit standing out among the colorful robes and shimmering scales of the alien delegates. Supreme Arbiter Gray, a tall figure with silvery skin that seemed to ripple like water, raised his hand for silence. The chamber, which had been filled with worried whispers and angry clicks, fell quiet. Ambassador Reed, Gray's voice echoed through the chamber. Your species has developed quantum consciousness technology. This violates Council Law 447b. No emerging species may possess technology beyond their evolutionary grade. Reed didn't flinch. He stood straight, hands clasped behind his back, a slight smile on his face. With respect, Arbiter, humanity doesn't recognize your authority to limit our technological development. A wave of gasps and angry hisses filled the chamber. A delegate with crystal-like skin stood up, pointing a sharp finger at Reed. You dare defy the Council? We who have guided civilization for 50,000 years. We dare to choose our own path, Reed replied calmly. As is our right. Arbiter Gray's skin darkened to a stormy gray. You misunderstand, Ambassador. This is not a negotiation. You will surrender your quantum technology, or face the consequences. Reed raised an eyebrow. And those consequences would be complete isolation from galactic society. Gray's voice grew colder, or if necessary, annihilation. We have 10,000 warships. You have 500. The choice should be obvious to even a young species like yours. The chamber grew tenser as everyone waited for Reed to beg for mercy or break down in fear. Instead, he laughed. The sound echoed off the crystal walls, making several delegates shift uncomfortably in their seats. Arbiter Gray, Reed's voice carried a hint of amusement. You speak of choices, but you understand so little about them, or about us. He took a step forward, his shoes clicking on the polished floor. Humanity faced extinction 3 times before we reached the stars. Each time, we were given the choice to submit or die. Each time, we chose to fight. But this is different. A blue-skinned delegate interrupted. You cannot hope to win. Win? Reed shook his head. You still don't understand. When humanity is backed into a corner, we don't calculate our chances of winning. We simply refuse to lose. Arbiter Gray stood up, his full height towering over Reed. Then you choose extinction. The Council's judgment is final. You have 48 Earth hours to surrender your quantum technology, or face the consequences. Reed turned toward the exit, then paused. Without looking back, he spoke one last time. You know what's interesting about humanity, Arbiter? We have thousands of stories about the end of the world. In every culture, every language. We've imagined every possible way our species could die. He turned his head slightly, that small smile still on his face. But we're still here. Perhaps you should ask yourself why. The chamber doors slid open with a soft hiss. Reed walked out, his footsteps echoing in the stunned silence. Behind him, the Council erupted into chaos, but he didn't look back. His hand reached for his communicator, pressing a single button. Back on Earth, deep under the Rocky Mountains, a red light began flashing in the United Earth Defense Council chamber. Admiral Stone looked at the signal and nodded grimly. Protocol Omega, he whispered, just as we planned. In orbit around Earth, in underground bases on Mars, and in the hidden stations beneath Europa's ice, humans began their final preparations. They had known this day would come. They had been ready for decades. The Galactic Council thought they were giving humanity an ultimatum. In reality, they were walking into a trap 50 years in the making. Humanity wasn't choosing extinction. They were choosing revolution. Deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, in a chamber carved from solid granite, the United Earth Defense Council gathered. The room hummed with tension as 50 of humanity's leaders sat around a circular table. Screens on the walls showed real-time data from Earth's defense systems and the positions of the approaching alien fleet. Admiral Stone stood at the center, his weathered face illuminated by the blue glow of holographic displays. "Ladies and gentlemen," he began, his voice steady. "The Galactic Council has made their move. Now we make ours." The president of the United Earth Alliance leaned forward. "How long until their fleet arrives?" 46 hours, Stone replied, pulling up a tactical display. Red dots representing alien ships appeared at the edge of the solar system. 10,000 ships, just as our intelligence predicted. They're moving exactly as our simulations showed they would. "And our preparations?" asked the chief of science, Dr. Moore, her eyes fixed on the display. Stone's lips curved into a slight smile. "Complete. The quantum network is ready. All colonial bases are fully stocked. The evacuation protocols are running perfectly. By this time tomorrow, no major city on Earth will have more than a skeleton crew of volunteers." The Chinese representative stood up. "We're really going to do this? Risk everything we've built?" "No," Stone said firmly. "We're going to protect everything we've built. The Council thinks they're dealing with a primitive species that got lucky with quantum technology. They don't know that we've been watching them for 50 years. They don't know that every time they tried to spy on us, we were studying them." He pressed a button, and the display changed to show Earth's hidden defenses. Green dots appeared everywhere, in asteroid belts, under the ice of Europa, hidden in the rings of Saturn. Their ships rely on standard fusion drives and basic shield technology. Stone continued. They haven't had a real war in 10,000 years. They'd grown complacent. But humanity, he paused, looking around the room. We've never stopped preparing for the worst. The room fell silent as the implications sank in. Humanity had built its civilization, knowing this day would come. Every treaty with the Council, every trade agreement, every cultural exchange, all had been opportunities to study their future opponents. "The vote must be unanimous," the president said quietly. "If we do this, there's no going back. We either win completely, or we lose everything." One by one, the leaders cast their votes. The display showed a growing circle of green lights around the table. When the last vote came in, Stone nodded grimly. "Then it's decided. Initiate Protocol Omega." Across the solar system, hidden quantum transmitters activated. In underground bunkers, massive machines hummed to life. On Mars, colonists sealed their hidden shelters. On Europa, scientists activated their secret weapons. And on Earth, millions of people calmly walked to their designated evacuation points. There was no panic, no chaos. Every person knew their role. They had trained for this, prepared for this, their whole lives. In orbit, Earth's visible defense fleet, the 500 ships the Council knew about, began their predetermined maneuvers. They were the bait, designed to look exactly as primitive as the Council expected. Back in the mountain chamber, Stone watched the preparations unfold. "How many times?" he asked quietly. "Sir?" A young officer looked up from her console. "How many times did they do this before? How many species did they force into submission or destroy because they developed too quickly?" Dr. Moore answered, her voice hard. "According to our intelligence, 17 species in the last 10,000 years." Stone nodded slowly. "Well, they're about to learn something important about humanity." He looked at the tactical display, where the red dots of the alien fleet grew closer. "We don't just learn from our own history. We learn from everyone's history, and we've learned exactly how not to lose." In space, the quantum network pulsed silently, waiting. Humanity's trap was set. The real war was about to begin. Fleet Commander Vale stood on the bridge of the Galactic Council's flagship, the Eternal Dawn. His gold-flecked eyes studied the tactical display showing the Sol system. 10,000 ships spread out behind his vessel, the largest fleet gathered in 5,000 years. "Status report," he ordered, his voice carrying the weight of centuries of command. Earth's defense fleet remains in high orbit, Commander, his second-in-command reported. Only 500 ships, as expected. Their cities appear to be emptying, but our sensors detect no significant military movement. Vale frowned. Something felt wrong. In 3,000 years of serving the Council, he had overseen the submission or destruction of 6 species. None had acted like this. "They're not even trying to negotiate," he muttered. "Scan deeper. There must be something we're missing." The fleet moved past Neptune's orbit, their massive engines leaving trails of blue fire against the black of space. Every scanner, every sensor probe searched for hidden human defenses. They found nothing. "Perhaps they've accepted their fate," his second suggested. "They're known to be unpredictable." Vale shook his head. "No. Ambassador Reed's behavior in the council chamber. This isn't surrender. This is something else." The fleet crossed Saturn's orbit. Still nothing. Just empty space and scattered readings from human colonies on various moons and asteroids, all seemingly abandoned. Multiple ships reporting unusual energy readings, an operator called out. "Very faint. Source unknown." Vale leaned forward. "Show me." The display lit up with tiny points of quantum disturbance, barely detectable. As he watched, they began to pulse in sequence, forming a pattern that. Vale's eyes widened. "Fuel REVERSE. All ships RAISE." The trap sprung. Quantum mines, thousands of them, invisible until the moment of detonation, exploded in synchronized waves. Each explosion fed into the next, creating a cascade of energy that turned the fleet's own shields against them. The more power a ship's shields had, the more devastating the reaction. 200 ships lost. Someone screamed. 300. "They're targeting our flagship." Vale watched in horror as his perfect formation dissolved into chaos. Ships collided trying to escape. Others fired blindly into space, their crews panicking. The quantum cascade tore through their ranks like lightning through a storm cloud. On Earth, Admiral Stone watched the battle unfold. Phase 1 complete, he reported to the Defense Council. Enemy fleet is scattered. Activating Phase 2. Hidden behind Jupiter's massive bulk, 500 more human ships appeared. Not the primitive vessels the Council had seen before, but advanced warships built in secret over decades. They accelerated toward the scattered alien fleet, weapons primed. "Impossible," Vale whispered as new contacts appeared on his displays. "They're ships. They're using technology we've never seen." The human vessels moved with impossible precision, their quantum drives allowing them to appear and disappear at will. They didn't fight like a young species should. Every tactic, every maneuver showed centuries of planning and preparation. "Sir," his second shouted, "we're detecting quantum signatures from everywhere. The asteroids, the moons, they've turned the entire system into a weapon." Vale understood too late. The humans hadn't built a defense network. They'd turned their entire solar system into one giant trap. Every asteroid could be a weapon, every moon a potential fortress. "Fall back," he ordered. "Full retreat TO." A quantum burst cut through his flagship's bridge. As emergency force fields snapped into place, Vale saw a message appear on every screen in his ship. It was text in the Council's ancient language, perfectly written. Lesson 1. Never assume a species is primitive just because they let you think they are. The battle of soul had begun, and humanity had drawn first blood. The ice caves of Europa stretched for miles beneath the moon's frozen surface. In a vast chamber carved by quantum drills, Dr. West stood before the assembled leaders of Earth's hidden colonies. Behind her, a massive quantum core pulsed with soft blue light, its crystalline structure reaching from floor to ceiling. "What you're looking at," she said, her voice echoing in the chamber, "isn't just a power source. It's the key to everything the Council fears about humanity." Admiral Stone stepped forward, his boots crunching on the icy floor. Above them, through the transparent ice ceiling, Jupiter's massive form filled half the sky. How many of their ships have we taken down? 800 and counting. A young operator reported from his console. They're regrouping behind Mars' orbit. But that's not the interesting part. He looked up, eyes bright. We're starting to detect quantum resonance from their crews. They're beginning to change. Dr. West nodded, a small smile forming on her face, just as we predicted. The quantum field isn't just affecting their ships, it's affecting their minds. She pressed a button, and a hologram appeared in the center of the room. It showed strands of energy connecting every human in the solar system, a web of consciousness that grew stronger by the minute. 50 years ago, when we first discovered quantum technology, we found something the Council never did. West continued. They use quantum physics for power, for weapons, for shields, but they never realized its true potential. She paused, looking at each person in the room. They never understood that consciousness itself is a quantum phenomenon. On one of the screens, they could see the alien fleet attempting to regroup. Their formations were sloppy now, uncertain. Fear had crept into their perfect military discipline. Every human in this system, West explained, is connected through the quantum network we built. We share thoughts, memories, skills. We are becoming something more than individual minds. She touched the hologram, and it expanded to show the entire solar system. The Council didn't ban our technology because it was dangerous. They banned it because it proves their entire hierarchy of species is a lie. Admiral Stone's communicator beeped. The Council fleet is hailing us, he reported. They're asking for a ceasefire. Of course they are, West said quietly. They can feel it happening to their own crews now. The quantum field is spreading. Their people are starting to connect, just like we did. Just like every species could, if given the chance. In the hologram, they could see it happening. Thin strands of quantum energy were reaching out from human ships to alien vessels, creating new connections, new pathways of thought and consciousness. The Council built their power on keeping species separate, controlled. West continued. They ranked us, divided us, told us when we were ready for each new level of technology. But consciousness doesn't work that way. It doesn't follow their rules. She walked to the quantum core, placing her hand on its crystal surface. The blue light pulsed in sync with her heartbeat. They called us primitive, she said, her voice growing stronger. They thought we were centuries away from true quantum technology. But humanity had one advantage they never considered. What's that? Asked one of the colony leaders. We never stopped dreaming, West replied. Every story, every myth, every legend humans ever created about becoming something more. We were preparing ourselves for this moment. While other species accepted the Council's limitations, we imagined breaking them. Admiral Stone's communicator beeped again. The Council's Supreme Arbiter is personally requesting to speak with us. Let them wait, West said, turning to face the assembled leaders. Let them watch as their perfect system crumbles. Because today, humanity isn't just fighting for survival. She looked up through the ice at Jupiter's swirling clouds. We're fighting to free every species in the galaxy from constraints they never needed. In space, the quantum web continued to grow, connecting mind after mind, ship after ship, in an ever-expanding network of consciousness. The Council's greatest weapon had always been division, but they were about to learn that humanity's greatest strength was unity. Supreme Arbiter Gray paced in the Council's emergency chamber, his silvery skin now a dark, stormy gray. The massive screens around him showed the disaster unfolding in the Sol system. Nearly 1,000 Council ships lost. And worse, the strange quantum effect was spreading through the fleet. We must offer them something, one of the Elder Council members suggested, his crystalline form flickering with anxiety. Perhaps a seat among the elder races. Gray spun around, his eyes flashing. You fool, don't you understand? If we don't stop this now, there won't be any elder races left. He waved his hand at the displays. Look at what's happening to our crews. They're connecting, breaking free of our control. In the Sol system, Fleet Commander Vale watched his remaining ships try to maintain formation, but it was becoming harder. His own mind felt strange, expanded somehow. New thoughts, new possibilities kept surfacing. "Commander," his second-in-command called out, voice shaking. "We're receiving memories, human memories. I can see their history, their struggles, their—" He stopped, eyes widening. "Sir, I can see the truth about the Council." Vale felt it too. Through the quantum network, he saw everything. The Council's lies stretching back millennia. The 17 species they had destroyed not for being dangerous, but for discovering this same truth. The carefully maintained hierarchy of races, all built on carefully constructed lies. His communicator crackled. "Commander Vale," Gray's voice came through. "You are ordered to begin final protocols. Authorization code, Omega Black." Vale's blood ran cold. Omega Black. The hidden weapons, the ones even he wasn't supposed to know about. Planet killers, designed to eliminate entire civilizations and make it look like a natural disaster. "Sir," he replied slowly, "the crews, they won't follow that order. They know too much now. The weapons are automated, Commander," Gray snapped. "Just give the command. Once Earth is destroyed, the quantum effect will end. Everything will return to normal." In the ice caves of Europa, Admiral Stone and Dr. West monitored the quantum network's expansion. Through it, they felt the Council's desperate plan forming. "They're going to try to destroy Earth," West said quietly, "just like they did to the others. The quantum network showed us all their secrets, the mysterious disasters that wiped out rising civilizations. It was them, all of it." Stone nodded grimly. "But they don't know about our hidden colonies. Even if they destroy Earth." "They won't," West interrupted, "because humanity isn't just on Earth anymore. We're everywhere in this system. And more importantly," she smiled, "we're in their heads now." On the Council flagship, Vale stood up from his command chair. Around him, his crew was doing the same. One by one, they removed their Council insignias and dropped them to the floor. "Supreme Arbiter," Vale said, his voice clear and strong, "I have seen the truth. We all have. Your order is denied." Gray's scream of rage echoed through the communication system. "You dare. I am Supreme Arbiter. I speak for thee." "You speak for a lie." Vale cut him off. "And now everyone knows it." In the Council chamber, Gray watched in horror as reports flooded in, not just from the Sol system, but from across the galaxy. The quantum effect was spreading through the communication networks, jumping from ship to ship, planet to planet. Everywhere, the carefully maintained barriers between species were breaking down. "What have they done?" Gray whispered. "What have these humans done?" On Earth's surface, in the last occupied command center, a young operator looked up from her console. "Sir, the Council's automated weapons are activating." "But," she smiled, "our quantum field is already inside their systems. They're ours now." The Council's last desperate move had failed. And now, there was no going back. The quantum core beneath Europa pulsed with blinding intensity. Dr. West's hands flew across the control panel as Admiral Stone coordinated with bases across the solar system. The time had come to reveal humanity's true masterstroke. "All colonies, activate your quantum beacons," Stone commanded. "Full power, just like we practiced." Across the solar system, hidden human installations came to life. On Mars, massive arrays rose from beneath the red sand. In the asteroid belt, hundreds of stations emerged from their hiding places. From Venus's toxic clouds to Neptune's storm-swept moons, quantum beacons activated in perfect synchronization. "What are they doing?" Supreme Arbiter Gray demanded, watching the displays in the Council chamber. "These installations, they weren't there before." His Ide's voice shook as he replied, "Sir, we're detecting quantum signatures unlike anything we've ever seen. The humans. They've built a network covering their entire solar system. In the Europa Command Center, Dr. West smiled as she watched the network come online. "Do you know what the Council never understood about us?" she asked, looking at Stone. "They thought technology was about power. But for humans, it's always been about connection." The quantum beacons pulsed in unison, creating waves of energy that rippled through space. On every ship, human and alien alike, crews felt their consciousness expanding, connecting, becoming part of something larger. Fleet Commander Vale stood on his bridge, tears streaming down his face as he experienced the full power of human consciousness. "All these years," he whispered, "we thought we were the advanced ones, but they were so far beyond us." Through the quantum network, every human in the solar system joined together. Billions of minds linked, sharing not just thoughts, but dreams, hopes, and memories. The collective knowledge and creativity of an entire species focused on a single purpose. "Sir," a young operator called out, "the Council's trying to activate their automated weapons again." Stone nodded calmly. "Let them try. Show them what humanity can really do." As the Council's planet killer weapons powered up, something unexpected happened. The quantum field didn't just disable them, it transformed them. The energy meant for destruction was absorbed into the network, converted into pure computational power. In the Council chamber, Gray watched in horror as his last weapons turned against him. "Impossible. Those systems are isolated. They can't be hacked." "You still don't understand." Vale's voice came through all the speakers at once. "This isn't about hacking. This is about evolution." The quantum network continued to grow stronger. From Earth to Pluto, the entire solar system hummed with energy. Humans had spent 50 years preparing not just weapons or defenses, but an entirely new way of existing. "Final phase," Dr. West announced. "All stations, prepare for Transcendence Protocol." In every human colony, in every ship and station, people closed their eyes and opened their minds. The quantum field grew stronger, brighter, until it was visible to the naked eye. A web of pure light connecting everything in the solar system. "My God," Vale breathed, watching the displays. "They're not just fighting us. They're evolving." West finished for him, her voice echoing through the network. "Becoming what we were always meant to be. And you can join us." The offer rippled through the quantum field, touching every mind in range. Not conquest, not destruction, but invitation. Humanity wasn't seeking revenge against the Council. They were offering everyone a chance to break free from artificial limitations. Stone looked at the tactical display one last time. The Council's fleet hung motionless in space, their crews transfixed by what they were witnessing. Earth glowed like a beacon, its quantum field reaching out across the void. "Ready for final transformation," West announced. "All humans, prepare for ascension." The greatest gambit in human history was about to pay off. They hadn't just prepared for war. They had prepared to change the universe itself. The moment of transformation began with a single pulse of light from Earth. It rippled outward, touching every human mind in the solar system. In the ice caves of Europa, Dr. West and Admiral Stone joined hands with their team as the quantum field reached its peak intensity. All human minds synchronized, the young operator announced, her voice filled with awe. "Quantum consciousness at maximum. We're ready." Supreme Arbiter Gray's voice crackled through the communication systems one last time. "Stop this madness. You don't know what you're doing. The galaxy has order for a reason." "No," Admiral Stone replied, his voice echoing through every ship and station in the system. "The galaxy has chains for your reasons. We're breaking them." The quantum field exploded with light. Every human mind joined together in a single moment of perfect unity. They were no longer billions of separate beings. They had become something new, something that had never existed before. Through their shared consciousness, they saw everything. Every lie the Council had told, every species they had suppressed, every dream they had crushed. But they also saw something else. Hope. Hope in the minds of every alien watching this moment. Fleet Commander Vale stood on his bridge, watching in wonder as the human ships began to change. They weren't just vessels anymore. They were becoming pure energy, thought-given form. "They've done it," he whispered. "They've actually done it." The transformation spread. From the quantum cores hidden throughout the solar system, waves of change rippled outward. Earth glowed like a newborn star, its light carrying not radiation but pure consciousness. "The council ships," someone called out. They're joining us." One by one, the alien crews made their choice. The quantum field didn't force them, it invited them. Through it, they could feel the truth. This wasn't an ending. It was a beginning. In the council chamber, Gray watched in helpless rage as his power crumbled. The carefully maintained hierarchy of species, the control they had held for 50,000 years, all of it dissolving in moments. "What have you become?" he demanded. Through the quantum network, every transformed human answered as one. "We have become free. And we're offering that freedom to everyone." The transformation accelerated. The human ships, now beings of pure energy and thought, moved through space like living light. They didn't attack the council fleet. They embraced it. Each touch brought understanding. Each connection brought enlightenment. Dr. West's consciousness, now part of the greater whole, reached out to the watching galaxy. For too long, the council taught us that species had to be controlled, had to be limited. That power had to be measured and given in small doses. They were wrong. The quantum field stretched further, touching distant stars. On thousands of worlds, suppressed species felt the call of freedom. The council's grip on their development, their potential, began to crack. This was always humanity's gift. Admiral Stone's thoughts merged with the collective. Not our technology, not our weapons, but our refusal to accept chains, our ability to dream beyond limitations, our determination to reach for the stars, no matter who told us we couldn't. The final moment came. Earth's quantum field, powered by billions of united minds, pulsed one last time. The transformation was complete. Humanity had evolved beyond physical form, beyond the Council's ability to control or contain. Gray's last words echoed through the cosmos. "What have you done to my perfect order?" The answer came not just from humanity, but from every species that had joined them in transformation. "We've replaced it with freedom." The age of the Council was over. The age of unity had begun. Throughout the galaxy, chains were breaking, minds were awakening, and species were beginning to reach for their true potential. Humanity had refused to negotiate. They had chosen what seemed like annihilation. Instead, they had become immortal.